Hello everyone for our Chusok edition of 2020 of Classroom English, or what I like to call it, Teaching English in English. Now, this is our course outline that you can find on Weebly, of course. For week 6, week 5, synthetic approaches, and next week 6, analytic approaches. So these two refer to approaches to teaching, to creating a school syllabus, and the order in which you teach or review content in your classes. So this is my syllabus, for example. It shows you the order in which we tackle the subjects. We're going to look at how the elementary school syllabus for English is organized and how that will affect your micro lessons ultimately. Now, with that in mind, I've got here week 8 micro lesson preparation, which is kind of a Q&A, a question and answer session for especially anyone who's starting cold, the first students who have no other examples to see. Now I think we're doing this digitally. I haven't asked yet, but I assume we're not going to be meeting in classrooms. But either way, I'm going to take the opportunity for your Chusok week to do half of your micro lesson preparation and half about synthetic approaches, which means I am not going to review your week 4 assessment quiz because I'm hoping to make this video live soon. This is Thursday, the 24th. I'm hoping this to be live by tomorrow, Friday. I will post it on the Google Classroom site, so you can go to YouTube, watch the videos. You'll have a full 12 days, I guess, to do that roughly before our next class. So, of course, it is holiday from Wednesday on. I have most of my classes Wednesday and Thursday, but poor Tuesday, English and computer, you still have class. So this is for everyone. So I'm making it a little lower key, lower stress. There will be links to some Play Posit videos, which have some questions inside them, integrated in the video. It's all to help you picture where we're going, why we're doing this, for example. You don't create syllabus, but you do create materials for class, so we're going to do that today. So the first half will be the theory, second half will be the additional videos to allow you to relax, watch, and learn through practical examples that I will provide, or rather, I borrowed. So, if we go to, let me see, an example of what students would be doing in class. So this is again from students that have done this from previous years. Basically, I'd ask the students to go through the elementary school books, which I provided, and find different grammar and different vocabulary that was taught in different lessons. So basically to see what kind of words and language was being taught, how difficult they were, how it was arranged. So if we look at grade 3, where the English courses start, I've asked students to give this or that for grammar. So for example, big and small letters. In other words, capital and lowercase, uppercase, lowercase. So capitals for example, Daegu, places, or people's names, Andrew, capital A, or a brand name, Samsung, capital S, versus when we don't use small letters. Plural versus single. So cats, with one S, cat, no S. Buses, ES, bus, again, none, etc. So every grammar example is this or that. I do it this way to make the micro lesson easier for you to structure. So rather than doing a number of grammar items and having to explain it, you will be doing just, is it this one or that one? You could have two choices or just one choice. Obviously, as it goes down to grade 5 and grade 6, it's getting more difficult, where we're getting some modals, for example, should versus can. Vocabulary. Now again, with our micro lesson in mind, you should choose a group of words which is 6 to 12 in each group. So, for example, animals. You could give 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different animals. And that would be one group of words. Weather. There's really only sunny, cloudy, windy, snowy, maybe stormy or foggy. Roughly 6 they might get in elementary school. So for your micro lesson, that would be animals and weather. 16 words is good. I say choose around 20 words. That's sufficient number for a 20, 30-minute activity as a review activity. If your word group is too easy, like let's say you did days of the week, there's only 7, you must add another group. So you could do days of the week and weather, or days of the week and months, giving you 7 plus 12, in that case, 19 words, which is a better number for a micro lesson, 20, 30-minute micro lesson. So vocabulary, clothes, job, sports, these are all good, suitable groups of words you could do in your micro lessons. Now again, micro lessons are about reviewing. You're not teaching. You're imagining you taught the words the previous week, and now you're just reviewing the words to consolidate, to reinforce, to build learning on those words. So these are the kinds of words. Now, this is already done. You don't need to go and search for these words. Don't choose Beatles songs, for example, because the words are too difficult for elementary school. Okay, so that's one good example of the kinds of words. Now, because it's arranged by grammar and vocabulary, it is what we call, now if I pull up a quick picture here, synthetic, right? Synthetic means artificial, man-made. You, the teacher or the syllabus creator, has created the syllabus. So when you look at the elementary school books currently in Korea, you will see it's organized by mostly grammar. That's how they build from grade 3 the lessons through grade 6. So it's split into short linguistic language items, one at a time. So like we said, you could do big letters versus small letters, or is versus are. Another way to look at it is something called a structural syllabus. So structures are here grammar structures. It focuses on grammatical forms, right? So is or are, going back to that one, she is, subject verb agreeing, they are, subject verb agreeing, they is, subject verb not agreeing. So that's the structural syllabus. And another way to look at it is something what we call, there's type A and type B. Type A is the structural, or it's got some difficult words here, but synthetic, where you, the teacher, make decisions on what to do, rather than things coming up randomly in class. You're the expert. you define, you create the lesson, the things to study in advance, right? Now, the other way to look at it is the analytic type. Now, analytic means, let me see. So if you consider it as a this or that, analytic is kind of the opposite of synthetic. So you're either doing synthetic, one, or analytic, the other. To analyze is, this analytic is where language comes up in chunks, phrases, groups of words. You do not control what happens. Things happen through natural reading, for example, or listening to, we did authentic materials. That might use an analytic approach. Sorry, not that one. So if we go to B, so the content, what the subject is to the learner. So if you say today we're going to look at, we're going to make a birthday party, and students have to create, you know, how they're going to celebrate, who they're going to invite, what food they're going to have. That would be this analytic or type B. There's a lot wider range of language. It's not in your control as much. And as it says there, it's doing things for or with the learner. This is more how you would learn your mother language, your mother tongue, Korean for you. This is how I learned English. But your classes in Korea are focused on this type A structural syllabus of synthetic approach. I don't want to get too much into the theory, but that's all you need to know for that. Now again, to give us some direction on what we're doing and why we're doing it, if we go to Microlessons in Weebly, you will, excuse me, you'll find there's many different types. Now they're organized from easy to more difficult. So week 9, the first one will be crafts. So in this case, what you do is you click on the information that I've given you. That's a download in this case. And you have to create the directions that you would give while demonstrating how to make one craft. So you're making something, but it is an English class, so you must have a language group or groups that you're planning to review in the lesson. So this one, we might have looked at this briefly already. Students make this sentence flat books. You give them directions, simple things like take 6 pieces of paper for each pair. Write one of these words on the top and you're pointing to the board or the screen. Write one of these words in the middle, write one of these words on the bottom. Simple directions like this that you can show. And students will be able to make this, in this case flat book, in 5 to 10 minutes if your directions are good and clear and you are prepared. Now here we're looking at probably sports, so it could be basketball, baseball, or maybe it's instruments, musical instruments like violin, viola, etc. So that could be your vocabulary group. You've got a subject-verb agreement here, so that's your grammar. She plays, not she play. He plays, I play. You might have students' names, Tim plays. Or you might have a list of different verbs, right, depending on what this is. And then you do a game which reviews this language. Maybe you show a picture on the screen and the first pair to hold up and say the correct sentence describing the picture get a point. Not an exciting game, but it's still meant to review your keywords. So those are the different crafts, and each week 3 Students will be doing their micro lesson from each major, roughly, and it'll be 3 different crafts. So make sure you're not doing the same craft. Grammar. Now, lots of you, well, everyone must review vocabulary. Not everyone will do grammar. Grammar is optional, depending on what grammar you need for completing the language task. Now, the grammar games means you must do grammar, but you're also going to need vocabulary. So you're doing grammar and vocabulary. Of course, this is too difficult. You would choose easier sentences, just like the ones we already looked at. You know, she plays the violin. So if you did that, keep the violin as one card, because otherwise, if you separate it, you're teaching articles. Why the? She plays violin. She plays the violin. Which is correct, teacher? Well, in this case, they're both correct. Why? And you need to explain. So avoid any difficulty with articles or zero article, no article, or any confusion with grammar. Keep it simple. Keep it focused. This one, well, what else? Substitutions, you're right. I challenge. It's kind of game-like and it's focused on endings. And tic-tac-toe, I consider it the lazy option because it's like bingo, and I don't like bingo and hangman. So if you chose this, then if you choose this, you should have different directions, games, rules that you add, which students must listen to and follow to complete it. So again, no bingo or hangman, please. Right, what else do we have in here? After that, so you see I've got this thing coming in. When using songs, books, or videos, so when you're presenting material through a song, or which is probably in a video or book, you need to do something before you show the video, something while students are watching the video, and then something after. This is because when you say watch this, most students don't know what they're watching for, why, and don't focus. So this is to focus them on the language, the vocabulary and grammar that you want to review in that lesson. That's the reason you're choosing that video. Same here, while. So while you're choosing, you might watch the video twice, have students watch twice. So you play it and say, count how many different colors you hear or see. Then you're focused on colors, and then the next time they have to try and find, for example, cards around the classroom which show the colors which are in the video. And then after, that's the same as a core activity, the main activity. And I've said here, there's no F activity needed. Well, watch this space. I might change that. F, we normally always do, meaning a follow-up or assessment of students' learning. And it could be a quick quiz, like my F activities so far have been you taking a Google quiz, and I can see who understands and who doesn't. Apologies for my quizzes not being easy, but take time. There's only 5 questions. My questions are not Coca-Cola Mashita easy. So take time, make sure you've got the best answers. Contact me if you're not sure even. Song and rhymes, storybooks are quite similar in that you're presenting materials. Now, I think I've shown these before. If you click on these different links, it's a video with a group of words that you might review for that class. So the Bath one is body parts, reviewing head and nose and shoulders, etc. It doesn't seem to be working. There's lots of different ones there. The storybook activities, I think I've shown you before, and that is where you present the words from a book. Could be ones from these videos. Yeah, it doesn't like I'm off the server. Could be ones from a video, or it could be ones from a book that you have uploaded through Prezi or Microsoft Sway or something. Sorry, small computer problem there. So storytelling. And again, you're choosing books or maybe making stories with a language focus, about 20 words, 2 or 3 groups of words, like we said. You can make a story or you can choose these. And we clicked on this one before. It takes you to video. And in this case, it's also a song, and it looks at colors and transport and even sounds of each vehicle. So there's lots of those there. Story Maker, same, make your own story. And we talked a little bit about listening lessons and phonemic awareness last week. Listening being quite general. It could be related to authentic language, like we had John on the fruit stall. Which fruits was John selling? Which fruits did you hear? And phonemic awareness, focusing on the sounds. And we talked about that in bottom-up instruction, starting with the sounds, building up to words, then phrases or chunks, sentences, and creating paragraphs or meaning from there. Okay, so those are the micro lesson types. Now, for part 2, what I'm going to do is, instead of uploading another 25-minute video, I'm going to assign a link. I'm going to put this on Google Classroom, okay? I'll probably put it in Weebly as well. So I'm hoping it'll work. So instead of logging in, what you need to do is put in your name. You can type in Korean, that's fine. In fact, Korean is probably easiest if everyone does that. Then I can see who's done it and who hasn't. So hopefully if this works, you'll get the code, the link, watch it, and what happens when you do this is there are different questions along the way. You should answer the question. It's not assessed like last week's one. So you click OK, press play, and you'll see for every little bump there is a question. Now this one's quite straightforward, but if I go forward to that little bump, a question comes up and you have to click what the right answer is, like that, and it'll tell you what the right and wrong answers are. Okay, now, this is not graded, but it is essential for you to look through it somewhere during the week, because it's all very good, very essential in preparation for the micro lesson. So I'm going to give you 3 videos, which will be starting with, I think we'll do PPP first, and that one is about 12 minutes. Then I'll give you the TPR and with total physical response and multiple intelligences. That one is 6 minutes long. And then about CLIL, rather. Now, I won't give you the methodology of CLIL. This is content and language teaching. So this video is a good example of the types of things you can do. That one is 7 minutes long. So in total, that's your 25 minutes, okay? Watch it, answer the questions, and any problems, we'll get in touch. And I think that'll do for now. If you want to arrange a Google Meet anytime next week or anytime, just arrange it with classmates. I think many of you said you'd like to do it with classmates. You can do that. Or just get in touch if you arrange a time individually with me, if you've got any questions about Classroom or any of this. I'll review some of this after Chusok though. Okay, hope everyone's well. Hope you have a great break. It is a break of some kind, and I will talk to you soon. Happy Chusok.